That's a bit strange. I don't usually do that, do I? I usually come from that side. Wow, hello. See, it feels unnatural. It's like I'm right hand side. I'm a right-handed person, but I prefer the left hand to be clear and empty. And also, I swear to God, I cannot get this camera straightened for the light of me. For the life of me, anyway. So we're talking about physical media that I have that is signed by whether it be authors or artists or actors or directors or whatever it might be. I have a handful that are Blu-ray and books, and one that's not a Blu-ray. Actually, two that aren't Blu-rays. Three that aren't Blu-rays. Jesus Christ. I'm pretty sure these are all the ones I have that are signed. I have a lot of autographs from many years of going to Comic-Con and Supernova and whatever, comic conventions in Melbourne, even one in Adelaide. Like the theater room that I'm in has like 2 signed pictures over there. It has 2 signed posters over there. Actually no, 3 fucking, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's at least 7 in front of me, so behind the camera, which is a signed picture from Game of Thrones, one from Scooby-Doo, one from Star Trek, 2 from Star Trek actually, one's Picard, a Stanley autograph, Mitch Pileggi, another one from Doc Martin, just because he was there at the same place that Benedict Cumberbatch was at. And in my room I've got several as well. I've got a Chris from Black Lagoon poster signed by Rico Browning. Never got to meet him, but I did get the autograph a couple months prior to his passing. And, Christopher Eccleston and a couple other people. Because I like getting autographs from people. I like meeting actors and directors and stuff and actually getting their autographs. There's some on the other wall as well. We got 4 different autographs from Star Trek people. Like original series Star Trek. 2 of them have since passed away. I got one from that guy who keeps winning Oscars but won't shut the fuck up during his speeches. And my mum found that at the $2 shop, so it could be fake, but we don't know. But these are the ones that I've gotten on physical media, because most of the time I like to just get a picture signed or a poster or something. But I don't know, over the past couple of years, I've found it more interesting to get an actual physical media thing signed, because it just makes it more interesting. So we're going to start with maybe the most obscure one I have, which is, I think, the smartest one I've ever gotten signed. Scooby-Doo from 2002. This is a childhood classic. I actually have 2 different signatures from it because we met Neil Fanning the same day. I got a photo with him and I got 2 autographs. This one is mine, personally, for me. It's not personalized or anything. It just says Ruh-roh, Neil Fanning, voice of Scooby-Doo. I did not grow up with this on VHS. I grew up with the DVD. I'd upgraded to the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray was a really cheap American-made Blu-ray. I say that because it's 2 discs, no artwork on the discs, very thin case, very yucky. Don't like it. It's great to watch the movies, but holy shit. But I found this with its green case on eBay for like $20 odd, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. Your classic clamshell. For Scooby-Doo, rated G. It's actually what seems to be halfway throughout the movie, so whoever owned it before me did not be kind, and they did not rewind. But I still bought this anyway, and I figured that was really cool just to get a VHS. Also because it was green. I just looked it up one day, and it was there, and it was green. I'm like, that is fucking genius. So I got, because the guy who voiced Scooby-Doo, who played him on set, is an Australian. Just lives in Queensland. Now he goes to conventions as of like 2023, 2024 period. So I just figured, fuck, that'd be so cool to meet Scooby-Doo, and he has like the head as well, so he brings that to cons with him. It's just really nice to meet him, to get a photo with him. If I remember to, I'll put a photo of myself there. I had actually this was 2023 because my girlfriend was overseas. I know that because I grew a very large beard in that time because I had 6 whole months to just do whatever. So I did that. But I also got the photo done with my younger brother. My older brother met up with us later, and we got another picture signed, which is like just the generic picture of Scooby-Doo with Neil in the corner. And that one is to our actual family, so it's like, hey, to the blank boys, Neil Fanning. It actually says Rijkswaronster, He's great. I'd like to meet him again, but I don't need to get another autograph or a picture because I've already done that. So, anyway. One that's more unusual, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Now, you're probably thinking, holy shit, who did he meet from Priscilla, Queen of the Desert that he got an autograph from? No one. no one who worked on the film, I'll tell you that much. So, this is from Imprint. They did this beautiful 4K lenticular set, and if I get out the right thing, we have a booklet. Oh, it's getting saucier. So we got this really nicely made book, great images on it, and, you know, good widespread image. The first essay, Out of the Bus and Onto the Streets, Performativity, Masculinity and Australian Culture in the Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, by Sally Christie. And look at that, it's an autograph by Sally Christie. Sally's a friend of mine, she works at her and I co-program at the Cinemaniacs. I've known her for a couple of years now, and when I got this in, I was just like, you know, I should get Sally to sign it. That'd be fun. Got to do an interview with her at some stage, because she's been doing a lot of film reviews and film criticism and all that jazz, commentaries and video essays for many years now, so I'd love to do an interview with her, but I got that signed, because that was just fucking genius. Gotta get that signed. Sally's awesome. Another Blu-ray, we have Samurai Jack. This one signed by an actor. Sorry, Sally. So this is signed by Phil Lamar. You can see the autograph there in silver. He voices Samurai Jack. That's a coup. Samurai Jack's actually that guy there. Ironically, and I mentioned this when I talked to him, I said that, because this is the whole show on Blu-ray, this is a very hard set to buy. I found it, luckily, for like $20 to $30 at JB, years after it was out of print. It just happened to be on the shelf. This is worth a lot of money. So I was very happy to get this, because I already had the first 4 seasons on DVD and season 5 on Blu-ray, was able to sell those after I bought this. But I got him to sign this because I'm actually a big Futurama fan. I love Futurama, but I didn't really know what to get signed for Futurama. I've got all these DVDs, but I've got nothing that I could say would be definitive that I'll keep forever. It's hard to really say. I should get a Blu-ray someday for that show. And because I don't have a Blu-ray and my brother owns the Big Bender bust for some fucking reason, he just got it one day. I don't think he bought it. I think his friend gave it to him. But I was like, oh, well, I want to get something that Phil Lamar worked on signed, and I'd seen a couple episodes of this, haven't finished it. Haven't finished the first season, haven't finished the whole show. I mentioned to him how I hadn't finished it, and he's like, oh, season 5 is great, it's really good, like, the animation's wonderful, whatever, the story concludes it really nicely, and I'm thinking, shit, he thought I meant that I haven't finished I haven't started season 5, I just meant that I hadn't really started the show. I'm like a few episodes in, and I was just like, it'll do. He voices Jack. He's in those episodes. And he's Phil Lamar. He's done so many great voice roles. He popped up and they've actually got the picture. They had the picture of him at Comic-Con for Pulp Fiction. Because he's the guy who gets his head blown up in the car. And he only has like one line of dialogue in that. Maybe 1 or 2, because I remember they have to take him from the bedroom or whatever. Either way, in the car, he only had like one line of dialogue before he gets his head blown up. And I pointed out to my parents, I'm like, hey, that's Phil Lamar. And then his head gets blown up. And I'm like, oh, he's the voice of Hermes Conrad from Futurama. He's in all these great animated TV shows. He was Green Lantern. He's Samurai Jack. In Samurai Jack, I've met him. He's a great guy. Fucking superb voice. This one's another recent one. We have, actually I got this year. This is Spirits of the Air, Gremlins of the Clowns. This is an Australian film from, 1990 something, I think? Oh, my memory. 1988, sorry. This is the Beyond Genres release, directed by, as the autograph has, Alex Proyas. Alex Proyas also directed Dark City, Knowing. He did Gods of Egypt. He's done a couple films I don't like, but I love Dark City. I've got the 4K from Arrow coming in for that. That's why I didn't get the Blu-ray signed, even though I did rewatch the Blu-ray of it, and I did rewatch this. But I figured, look, this one has some beautiful artwork on the inside that he contributed to. It was his first feature. It was, a 16mm kind of film, outback, middle of nowhere. And it was just really nice to meet him. I don't think, I respect him enough that he still likes his films. Everything that he's done, he's been happy with, even if, a lot of people haven't been. I'm pretty sure he did iRobot. Anyway, I'm not a huge fan of his 2000s stuff. I hate Gods of Egypt, but I knew someone who loved it, and I mentioned that to him. I had an old friend who absolutely loved Gods of Egypt, and he's like, yeah, a lot of people have said that, and a lot of people wanted a sequel, but he didn't want to do a sequel. And, he's of Egyptian born, but raised in Australia. He's of Egyptian heritage, and he couldn't make the film as Egyptian as he actually wanted to, and a lot of people hated the whitewashing in the film, and he hated that. So there was a lot of really interesting insight, but for a film I don't fucking like. But, I still have that respect for him, and I don't know, it's hard to say if he was appreciative of me talking about these films of him or not, but as it was, there was no one else there until there was, and then he's like, oh, there's someone behind you. I was like, oh, there is, because he wasn't in a regular spot to get autographs. But he was nice, got this signed, I was happy with that. And he said that he was excited for the Dark City release because he's approved of the transfer, he thinks it looks fantastic, and I've got that coming in a couple of weeks, so I'm fucking keen for that, because I did rewatch it, and it is a beautiful film. So, yeah, that's a fun one, and it's a good boutique Australian release that he was really happy about as well, so I'll take that, sure. Then we have Love Serenade. This is my favourite Australian film. I do love how it's in a pink case, even though it looks so... God, look at how cheap and daintily printed that is. It looks awful. Absolutely terrible. But it is a legitimate release, and I got it signed by Miranda Otto, who is Dimity. She's more known for, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and she's one of the aunts. She's famously in Lord of the Rings. She's the one who's like, I am no man, and then stabs that fucking witch doctor in the face. Yeah, that's her. She's fantastic. And I could have gotten the Lord of the Rings thing signed. Trust me, I have a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff. I could have gotten that signed. But I adore this movie. I even showed it to my partner the night before, which was now, I went to put this on, and it was in 4:3, but, widescreen 4:3, so it was just, a small rectangle in a lot of blackness, and I was like, how did I not realize that last time? I don't know. I have no idea how I didn't realize that. Maybe last time I just enhanced the video, just, stretched it out, but it was on a different TV. Nevertheless, it was on Netflix, and Netflix had the new 4K restoration, which I have since gotten from Umbrella, but that wasn't out at the time on physical. But this was. And I still love that I have this because it's just a crazy mess of words and stuff, but it is written and directed by Shirley Barrett, who unfortunately passed away in the late 2010s. But it does have her commentary track, which isn't on any other release. So this has commentary behind the scenes and a trailer. All of those other things are on the new, the release from Umbrella, but Umbrella also has a bunch of interviews and stuff. But yes, this is a letterboxed 4:3, which is really not great. But again, it's just, I love the artwork too. It's just so cheesy and silly. I like how it's not the stupid one where it's her in a sexy pose with flashing lights around her, some kind of Hollywood thing. In this case, it just looks kind of stupid, and it really is. And she was great. It was wonderful talking to her about it. I apparently spent $60 to get that autograph because I still have my receipt from 2022. Hot diggity. So yeah, also it's a pink case. Just like with Scooby-Doo, it's something that's iconic to me, and I'm keeping it for the commentary, obviously because of the autograph, but yeah, it's just a really fun release to have, and I absolutely adore this film. My most recent autograph from a famous person, I guess, is Dead Calm. Me and my mate John went to the Astor recently. They had a evening with Billy Zane where they showed The Phantom, and John got a magazine signed and got a photo with him. I should have done the same thing, but I instead just got a signature, and I got this sign, which is a DVD of Dead Calm. His autograph is right there. Now you're probably thinking, Julian, why is there a big sticker in the middle? Don't worry, that's just on the plastic. I got them to sign the sleeves. Always get them to sign the sleeves. I always take the whole thing with me, but just take the sleeve out and get them to sign that. No, none of them have ever signed the plastic because that would be stupid. I was going to get my Titanic 4K signed. I was thinking maybe get the Twin Peaks box set I have, because he's in Twin Peaks, get that signed, or even my Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, because I love that film and he's so fucking fantastic in that movie. But all of them had different qualities. Titanic didn't have his face on it, and there was no great place for him to sign it, and even if I got him to sign the inside, it's a black case, you wouldn't see the autograph. Tales from the Crypt is the cinema cult release, so it's basically a DVD upscale, and I was just like, I don't want that signed, because then I have to keep it. Like, I want to get an upgrade and get rid of that fucking Blu-ray. And for Twin Peaks, I have a couple different Twin Peaks things. Again, nothing really based on it. I was just like, I don't really know what I'd like to get signed for it. But then Mum mentioned Dead Calm, and I'm like, yeah, he is in Dead Calm. And I studied Dead Calm in high school, so I have a relationship with it. I really like the film, even though this is the sped-up PAL version, so it's 93 minutes instead of 96. Could have gotten the Blu-ray. Probably should have a week earlier, but didn't, because I didn't think about it until like 2 days beforehand. I'm like, I don't have time to buy the Blu-ray, because you'd have to get it shipped in, because it's not in stores anymore. But the DVD seemed to work. Sure, it still has the Hot Movies, Hot Prices DVD sticker. And I was thinking of maybe getting them to sign the inside image, but my parents were just like, just get him to sign the front. I wanted them to sign it with a silver texter, but he actually suggested the black one. Like, he already had that, and he's like, I actually signed one of these earlier, and this is like, it's a great place for it. Like, it really stands out on the sunset. You might not notice it initially because of the sticker, but if you ignore the sticker, it's still there. And that was great. So it was really nice to meet him. I mentioned how I loved him in Twin Peaks. Really wish I had have mentioned Tales from the Crypt, but once I met him, I was like starstruck. I was like, holy shit, this guy's fucking still hot as shit. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I was just like, I didn't know what to say. So I got him to sign it, and he was chill. So, yeah. Either way, that's the latest one. So it's actually not one that I personally own. This is my parents' DVD, but more than likely I'll be taking it with me in future. But at the same time, you know, my mum would have loved to have been there and met Billy Zane. My dad likes him as an actor as well. So it's like, we all collectively were happy with this, even though I was the one spending the money to buy it. But I was also spending that money to see him, and then to see him do a talk, and then to watch a movie, even though that was actually different prices for different tickets. But let's look at some books where most people on this video will click off, but there are some fun books that I have signed. Again, it's not really something I'd like to get done, but it's a good idea, and I'll tell you why in a bit. So firstly, and most kind of creatively, we have The Walking Dead. I loved this series when I first started reading it after the TV show was, you know, getting popular. I think I had the first 5 or 6 volumes, and then ended up, like, borrowing a bunch from my local library, until I started purchasing it again from like volume 14. I think I had the first 10 volumes. Then I went from volume like 18 through to 22. There was only like 3 more volumes until it finished, but I never finished the comics because I was paying like monthly to read them, and I didn't like that because I wasn't getting a steady income, and also I just don't like doing that. But I guess that's kind of how comics work, isn't it? But this is the only one I still have. I've sold all the rest of them because I just didn't need them. I'm like, if I'm going to buy them again, I'm just going to buy a compendium, which you can do, which is great. But I'm keeping this around because I actually got it signed by Tony Moore. That's the second guy, the penciler, inker, and great tones. He basically designs like how it'll all look. It even says Rod on Julian. He basically designs how it's going to look. Gives you the style, does a couple of different, iterations for the comic, for the characters and everything, a couple different issues. This is like 4 issues because it's volume 1. And then he moves on to another project. Basically there because like he can create such a distinct art style that he's wanted by so many different people. It's like, okay, well, he will create a style and give you that style, and you can use that style, and someone else will adapt that style onwards. So it's just a really interesting thing. So you won't see his name on a bunch of the comics because he only did like the first couple before moving on to his next project. And I think that that's really cool, how you can just like, you know, be the inventor of the designs of these characters and the way that they look. Basically, I think I might be like miscrediting because it does. Cliff Rathbone as additional Grey Tones. I think he continued it onwards. But Tony Moore, again, designing so many of the characters and the designs, and then teaching the next guy, and then moving on. And yeah, he was just a supernova one year, and I just met him because I was just like, oh my god! And I don't think you had to pay. It was one of the first autographs I got where I didn't have to pay for it. And I was very confused by that. At least I don't think I had to pay. And if I did, it wasn't very expensive. But there wasn't a queue. He was just in a random spot, sitting down at a table. And I walked up to him with a comic in hand. And he was doing a doodle. And I just watched him for like 5 minutes, just drawing a thing. I didn't want to be like, hey, here's a comic, sign it, and move on. I was like, this is so cool. I get to watch a guy who like invented a whole entire look for a comic series, for several comic series, and I just get to watch him create something in front of me for free. And then he looked up and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I gave him the book, and we had a small chat. And he, I was like, "My name's Julian," and he had said, "Rod on, Julian." I didn't expect him to say "Rod on." He just wrote that, which is great. Usually there's write your name like to Julian, person's name. And yeah, it was just so cool. It was just to chat with him and just to kind of experience that. And I think that has been weirdly influential for me because I really just like watching people do art. It's fantastic, and I really like that. And I've got so many friends who do that now as well. And I mean, that'll tag into exactly what I'm about to talk about over the next 3 books. But that's why I'm keeping this, because I don't need it anymore. I haven't reread it, but it still is a beautiful looking comic, and it just has his autograph. So yeah, maybe if it wasn't personalised, I could have sold it. But I sold every other volume. Someone bought everything else that I had, even though there was inconsistencies. Volume 2 to 10, and then like 18 to 22. What's that all about? Yet they bought it, so, maybe it made it easier if they got so many random ones. So let's move on to some other books. So this is maybe the first book I think I ever got... Oh no, I mean, The Walking Dead was the first book I ever got signed. But the first from any of my friends is Hell Have No Fury Like Her, The Making of Christine by Lee Gambin. I bought this on Amazon a couple of days earlier. It actually has quite a few things in it. It still has my very worn-out ticket that I really hate gets so worn out. From the Stay Tuned thing at the Astor, which was the last time I ever saw Lee. For those who don't know, Lee had since passed away. He passed away about a month after I last saw him. But I do have the poster for Stay Tuned. It was a thing he did at the Astor. Unfortunately, only the one time, because again, wasn't around a year to do another one a year later. And it was just like a poster for selection of TV shows, just random episodes to show for 11 straight hours of TV. And yeah, so that was I just keep that in this book because I like to. But yeah, this is basically the making of Christine, the movie, the John Carpenter film, and Lee had done a bunch of, interviews and everything. They're just talking about, like, the whole film scene by scene, breaking down all these different aspects to it from different interviews. It is insanely comprehensive. And of course, I got him to sign it. He was he was half drunk. I've got the video of it too, of him signing it, which is great. And it just says, "To Julian, vroom vroom," from Lee. So yeah, he kept asking me, how do I spell my name? Because he wanted to get it right. We had so many people around us. I know that I know Craig Martin was there and Alexandra Helen Nicholas, and she was teasing him about having a fanboy and everything. And it was great. I got this signed at one of the Cinemaniac screenings for Gun Crazy. I think that was 2022, midway throughout 2022, because I was actually filmed his introduction as well. His introduction was to Alexandra Helen Nicholas, who was about to become a board member. Before I think someone else, I think it was Alyssa Ross did the presentation, but Lee introduced it, and I filmed that for my interview with him. More footage that I believe I have since found. Yeah, I have. I found all that footage. It's crazy. But yeah, so I just got him to sign it on the day because I was like, that'd be just cool just to have him sign the book. It's so silly. It was the only one I had of his at the time. I didn't get any more of his until the week after he passed. I bought them all from the Cinemaniac store because I just wanted to have them all, which led me to buy every single Blu-ray release he was a part of, and a bunch of other books since then. So yeah, but it's nice. It's just a nice memory that I get to have, to treasure it. Then we have from another Cinemaniac screening, Bride of Frankenstein. This is from Midnight Movie Monographs, edited by Emma Westwood, with an introduction by Sarah Karloff. Emma, I actually recently did an interview with on that interview show, so that probably will be out by the time this video gets released. So go ahead and check that out. It's a 2-hour-long interview where we talk about so much shit, including this book. This one's not personalized by Emma. It's actually a collection of different essays, but there is the autograph there that just says Emma Westwood. They basically just had a bunch on hand at the time during the screening, because the screening was Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Hell of a double feature. And and it was at Acme, and the Cinemaniacs introduced it, and they had a panel in between, I think either in between the films or before the first film, but either way, Emma was there, and I hadn't really met her before, and they were like, oh, you know, you can order a book, and I think I'd ordered the book a day or two earlier, just to pick up, but either way, it's not personalized, it's just her name that she's edited, that she's written in it, and yeah, it's a collection of essays by others, edited by Emma Westwood, which of course includes several people who I know personally. You've got Emma, who did a couple of them, Sally Christie's in here, Dan Golding was my tutor in university, Dr. Dan Golding, because there's Dr. Eloise Ross as well, who was another tutor of mine, Stephen A. Ross, I didn't even realize Stephen was in this, he's another friend now. A lot of these people I've met since then, so yeah, Lee did an essay as well, and Cerise Howard as well, so there's a good handful of people I have since met after getting this book, but yeah, of course it has all their names at the back as well, which is great. So this one only got released in hardback, which is very interesting. I don't think Emma expected that, or at least from our interview, she said she didn't expect that. Anyway, it's cool. So it's just a nice thing to have. I could easily get anything else that she's done commentaries for, or video essays for, or written essays. I've got so many. I got the new Talk to Me set where her and Sally do a audio commentary, but this is fine enough. Like, I don't need the extra personalized touch, because I'm like, I see her quite frequently anyway, and I've spent more than 2 hours with her, and she's fucking great. So yeah. So last but not least, and this kind of is in tangent with Lee and Emma, both of which I've done interviews with. I might remember to link them down below, but we do have the latest release, which also I did an interview with its writer, John Harrison. This is Creatures of the Screen, the uncensored and unofficial history of kissploitation on film, television, and home video. I got one of the personalized releases. He hasn't even, to my knowledge, John hasn't even done his big promo event yet. It's on its way, but it doesn't really matter by the time this video comes out. But yeah, so he signed that, which is fucking awesome. Got a t-shirt from him as well. It's a Godzilla fighting the demon. You know, I think that was Gene Simmons' character. Either way. So to Julian Rock and Stomp, best John Harrison. Somewhere in this book we'll have that image. But yeah, this was John's most recent one, and the thing is, I have a bunch of his books from when I did my my interview with him, that he just gave me a bunch of his books that he had lying around, which is great, and it was just one of those things where it's like, oh, I've got all these, like, there it is, that's the one I've got as a t-shirt, that one there, but yeah, so I got this one from him. I had so many other of his books, and I've got he's done audio commentaries on other Kino Lorber releases and stuff like that, and I was going to get one of them signed, and because I remember when I got Sally's one signed, and he was there, he's like, why didn't you bring one of my books? You could have gotten that signed. I'm like, I didn't even fucking think about it, holy shit. And yeah, I remember now, there's one I still want to get, which is The Exorcist 2. I want to get Peter to sign it, because, well, Peter did do the artwork for this, actually, so I might get Peter to sign this too, but I think Exorcist 2, because he did the artwork for that. I guess it's not overtly celebrity if you don't know who they are, but it doesn't really matter, but I gotta get Peter to sign this, because he did the artwork. So, anyway, that's all. That's the wrap-up. Let me just put this back on the shelf. To my knowledge, I don't have any further autographs, and I'm not going to count, like, the Criterion ones when you get, like, a Criterion sticker that has a, you know, the autograph from the director, because it's director approved, because I didn't meet them personally, they didn't sign it personally in front of my face or anything, but I don't think I have any more, because it's pretty new enough for me to start getting physical media signed, mostly just because I just didn't get it signed. Like, most of the time when I would go to meet someone, I would have a poster, or I would have a picture, or I would just get something like that signed. So, yeah, it's not unusual, but it's something that I do like. It gives everything that I have a bit more personality, and more of a keepsake measure, for that matter. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks to those who I've met who have signed this stuff. It's great. I love it. Yeah, that's basically it. Let me know if you have any fun autographs from people that you consider to be famous, or just autographs in general. And yeah, that's it. See you next time. I got a pop vinyl signed by Joe Dante once. I just bought the pop vinyl. It was already signed, which sucks. I would have loved to have met Joe Dante. But there we go. It's a Gizmo one from Gremlins. I'm gonna go the way I came. Ciao.